Our man Jack is king of the pumpkin patch. Everyone hail to the pumpkin king now. This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to What Cheers. I'm Nick.
I'm Jared.
And thank you so much for joining us for yet another beer review. This is part 3 of our Pumpkin Blowout tasting. And tonight, guys, we're going to be looking at a different type of pumpkin ale. This is a Imperial Pumpkin Stout. I've never had this beer before.
I've never had a pumpkin stout before.
No, well, I have. I'm not gonna lie. I have had this regular style. I have not had the Imperial Stout. So it's supposed to be quite a bit better. This is coming from Cape Ann Brewing Company out of Gloucester, Mass.
Yep. And
I had bought a 2010, a 2011, and then I just picked up the 2012. And so we're gonna do a vertical of the three.
So we're gonna do a vertical, but we're also gonna do their regular pumpkin stout as well.
We are. Yep. We just picked up one bottle of that from this year to use that as kind of a control beer to see how that compares to the Imperials. But we're gonna see how they've evolved over time, and it should be really interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure how these are gonna change. So
I have no idea. I've never had the Imperial before, and it's 11%. So it's kind of a big beer, so we're going to see how that drinks. So we're going to go ahead and get a look at the pour on the 2012 Imperial Pumpkin Stout.
So as it pours into the glass, it pours really dark actually.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much black.
Yeah, pretty close to black. I mean, the liquid coming out of the bottle is pretty dark as well. Usually you can see a little bit of light through that, but not so much in this case. The head, it originally formed like a nice finger's worth of, nice tan.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty fluffy for a few seconds at least.
Yeah, I mean, it dissipated pretty quickly though. There's not much left. Not much lacing in the way of that. But,
yeah, for 11%, I mean that is to be expected. You can't see anything through this.
No, it's pretty dark.
It just looks like honestly, just a classic Imperial Stout.
Yeah. So in comparison, the regular pumpkin stout, I mean, it pours pretty similar, except that it's a little bit lighter. Red around the edges, red right through the center. If you hold it up to the light,
You can see right through this. It's
you can
clear.
definitely see through it.
It's darkest red.
Yep. But aside from that, the head was pretty much the same.
Yep.
A little bit of a head, dissipated pretty quickly, not much left.
Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get a smell on the original Fisherman's Pumpkin Stout.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Smells like a pumpkin beer. I don't get too much roasted notes.
not much roastiness at all.
Not a lot of chocolate. It just
smells like a lot of spices.
If my eyes were closed or blindfolded, whatever, I think it was a regular pumpkin beer.
There's a little bit of a little bit of a tart, sour smell to it, actually.
That's coming from the pumpkin, definitely.
Yeah, this must be real pumpkin. It doesn't smell artificial. It smells like real pumpkin and pumpkin spices.
You definitely get some cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. You get a little bit of the pumpkin. The more I smell it,
it's not bad actually.
I get a little bit of like roasted malt, a little bit of coffee. Not much.
Very
definitely
minimal.
in the background.
Very minimal. Does not really smell like a stout in any way though. More just like a regular
I
pumpkin.
wouldn't have known it was a stout had I not seen it.
I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and get a taste on the Pumpkin Stout.
Cheers.
Cheers. I get some of that roastiness. The pumpkin spices are there. It's a little watery for me. It's very thin. It does not drink like a stout really at all. Aside from that roastiness, like
you get a little bit of like roastiness, a little bitterness in the back.
A little bit of chocolate.
Not much.
Not much. It's not bad, but
watery's kind of. I mean, for a stout.
Yeah,
I expect
definitely.
a little heavier from a stout.
Don't taste the alcohol at all.
No.
7% I don't taste. But it's not really that impressive either. It's just kind of got a little bit of spiciness, some chocolate, some.
I think the aroma is more powerful than the taste is. It's just not much. It's good. You get a little bit of like cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg.
Yeah, it's definitely not
major. You don't get much pumpkin on the taste. Not any of that tartness that comes from the pumpkin.
No. Yeah.
Not what I was expecting.
No, it's a little bit for me, but hopefully the Imperial's better since we have 3 of them.
Yeah, really. Alright, so now that we tasted the regular pumpkin stout, let's jump right into the Imperials. This is going to be the 2012.
Alright, let's get a nose on this brew. Wow, that's a lot better.
A lot different, yeah. In a good way.
Wow, that's like triple what that smelled like.
I think this is definitely a stout first, and then you get the spices.
Pumpkin beer second, yeah. You got a lot of roastiness.
Whereas the previous one was like pumpkin beer first and like stout like fourth or fifth. There's
I agree.
nothing to it.
Yeah, exactly. This has like a lot of the stout characteristics. It has a maple kind of smell to it, along with those pumpkin spices, which I kind of like a brown sugar maybe in there too.
This smells really good, actually.
It smells really good, which is what I had heard about this beer. So I'm kind of happy with the way this is smelling already.
The spice definitely comes through. I'm not getting too much pumpkin from this, but I think it makes up for it.
Not a whole lot.
I mean, there's plenty of spice. There's plenty of stout.
I'm getting
notes to it.
that tartness though, like you said, was probably from the pumpkin in the original. I'm getting that tartness.
You getting it again?
Mm-hmm. But it smells a lot better. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers again.
Cheers. Mm-hmm.
Very similar to the aroma. You definitely get stout up front, and the spice comes in a little bit.
I really like that. It's got a lot of cinnamon and nutmeg. It's really slick on the palate. It goes down really easy. For 11%, this is really drinkable. Holy crap!
Yeah. Oh, I forget it was.
I don't taste the alcohol at all. And this is a fresh bottle too, so
a little bit of bitterness in the back. Again,
wow,
typical
really
to a
good.
stout, not much. Definitely a heavier mouthfeel, which I expect from an imperial beer. I expect it from a stout, but didn't come through on the first one. So
really creamy mouthfeel on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, very slick going down. It does kind of coat your tongue, but wow, that is super drinkable for 11%. And this is a fresh bottle.
Yeah,
too.
a little bit of pumpkin, some spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some chocolate, roasted malt, stout notes to it. All around, that's exactly what I expect for a pumpkin stout to taste like.
This is better than I expected it to taste like so far, and this is the 2012. So I'm looking forward to see what the others taste like.
Very curious to see how it has changed over the past 2 years.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get those bottles. We'll pour the 11 and the 10, and then we'll come back and we'll do a complete run-through of the tastes.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, guys, so we got the 2011 and the 2010, and we're going to get them into a glass and let you know what we think.
All right, so now we get those two poured. We have the 11 right here, and we have the 10 right here. Let's see how it's changed.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get a smell on the 11 then.
Wow. This one's... I'm going to compare it to the 12 again.
I actually don't see much difference in the smell so far. It's a little bit spicier, actually.
Yeah, I think
it
this
actually stands out more to me.
The stout, I don't want to say the stout has dropped off a little bit, but the roast
smells more pumpkin forward than the 11.
Yeah, it smells a little bit more pumpkin.
Yeah,
more
it's actually
spice forward.
I actually like that. A lot more of the spices and the pumpkin pie aspect comes out.
Yeah.
And the 12 is a little bit more subdued.
Yeah, the spice is still
more
there.
stout in this one, yeah.
But there's
for
more
sure.
of that chocolate, more of that roasted malt to it. So
let's go ahead and get a smell in the 10.
All right.
That's nice.
This one's wow.
That's a mix of the two. This is kind of mellowed out a lot, and it's got more of a
I get a lot of stout from this
sugary
one.
kind of. Got a nice sweet sugary kind of smell with some pumpkin pie spice to it. I think it's maybe the best smelling for me.
I get mostly, I get a little bit of spice. I get mostly stout from this one though. I get a little bit of alcohol as well. The alcohol is showing through on this. It doesn't show through on the other two. I think in the 10 it shows through a little bit.
All three are different. This one, the fresh bottle smells like more like a stout. This one smells a lot more like a pumpkin pie kind of beer, and then this one here smells like a mix between the two.
Wow.
Which I kind of like a lot. Well, all very different, which is really good because I was hoping they would be.
Yeah. Let's see how they taste.
Yeah.
See if it backs up the aroma.
All right.
So, cheers.
Cheers. Yep. That's got a ton of pumpkin pie spices
Lots
to
of
it.
yeah.
There's like hardly any
Wow.
stout characteristic to that whatsoever. Like
Lots of allspice, lots of nutmeg.
lots of just
A little bit of pumpkin, but yeah.
it's hard to explain. It just comes. It's a little bit probably too spice forward to be honest for it's supposed to be an imperial stout. So.
It definitely comes across as a pumpkin stout, that's for sure.
Wow, that is seriously nice though.
Yeah.
Back to the 12. Yeah, I have to admit I do like the 11 more because it has more pumpkin pie spices in it.
the roasted stout has mellowed out a little
And
bit.
the alcohol is actually even more hidden in the 11.
Yeah, it doesn't quite come through yet.
Very nice stuff.
All right, you want to taste on the 2010?
Yes, sir.
All right. See how it tastes. I get mostly I really get mostly stout on this one.
Yeah, it actually doesn't live up to the aroma for me. It's creamy. It's got a nice.
The mouthfeel is great. It's a great stout. It's got a hint of spice to it.
It's aged nicely,
But
it's not what I expected by the nose. Though.
But the stout doesn't come through. Or I mean, the spices don't come through too much.
So far, the 11 is
Mostly the stout,
is really the best for me.
which is really weird. It's weird how the stout shines. You know, you get a nice mix. You get a lot of spice. You get a lot of stout in the 2012, and then the stout drops out in 2011. But then the spices drop out and the stout comes back in 2011.
And it's just not that great
Yeah,
by
I'm
the
not
time
sure.
it gets down to the 2010. It's just the
It's
stout.
just a stout.
Yeah, it's just a stout, and the pumpkin pie spices aren't really there.
It's not a bad stout,
Nope.
but for a pumpkin stout, you're not really getting a pumpkin stout anymore.
Alcohol really well hidden on all three.
I think the alcohol is well hidden, but it comes through a little bit in 2010.
Well, I don't even get that.
No.
So
I got
guess
a
we taste
little-
that differently. I don't know.
I got a little bit on the aroma, but on the just a minor, not much at all.
Mhm.
Still very well hidden.
At first sip, I thought it might be a little oxidized, the bottle, but I don't know how I don't know how well he's supposed to age. So this is kind of interesting just to see. But they have aged pretty well from what I can tell. So let's go ahead and give them a rating.
All right.
All right, guys. So we've been sipping on all these for a little bit now. We've come up with a decision as far as what we like best, and we've given everything a rating. Beer Advocate gives the regular pumpkin stout a 84, and it gives the Imperial Pumpkin Stout an 88. What does Rate Beer give these?
Rate Beer gives both of them, both the regular and the Imperial, a 93. So,
Okay.
what do you think of all these?
Okay. Well, going down the line from the regular, I would say that one was not very good. It was very watery. It didn't have a lot of nice pumpkin flavors. It definitely didn't taste like a stout for me. I gave it a 65.
Wow, that was pretty low.
Pretty low.
It's probably the lowest
I mean,
we've rated so far.
yeah, maybe besides the Shipyard. But
I don't remember.
the 2012 was an 85 for me, and having that one first of the Imperials, I thought it couldn't get any better. But then that's part of why we do this, so
It's
that
fun.
it's really fun to try
It's interesting.
the vintages.
Eye-opening.
Yep.
So-
So I give that one 85. I think it's very good. I think it's more stout and less pumpkin. I think you can taste the alcohol the most, even though at the start I said you couldn't taste it at all. It still comes through the most for me. 2011 I liked the best. I think it's really, really heavy on the pumpkin pie and the spices, but that little bit of roastiness and chocolate with the stout character in there, and I gave that a 95. I think that's phenomenal.
Wow.
I would drink that.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty. I would drink a lot of that. 2010 was my second favorite, and I gave that a 90. It is a really, really good stout, but it is more of a stout than a pumpkin stout, I guess. There is still some spices in there. It's kind of creamy. It's very nice, but just not as good as the 2011 for me. What did you think?
All right. So as far as the regular pumpkin stout, I gave that one a 75. I agree with you. It was pretty watery.
Pretty low, yeah.
There was a little bit of spice to it. Not much stout at all to it. It was the wateriest stout I've ever had, probably. As far as the Imperials go, I gave the 12 an 88. I gave the 11 a 90, and I gave the 10 an 84. The 12 was great, had spice, had a little bit of roasted notes to it. Like you said, the 11 focused a little bit more on the spice.
Absolutely.
It really showcased it.
Yeah, it's really good.
And then the 10 was, I had to give it an 84 because, I mean, it's a great stout, but it's not really a pumpkin stout anymore. There wasn't really any spice left to it. It was like kind of a stout with a hint of something. So I had to rake it a little bit lower. The 11 was definitely my favorite, like you said.
Yeah, this is a delicious beer, guys. They distribute mainly in the Northeast, Cape Ann, and they're they're really inexpensive. This was like $5.99 for this bomber, which to me is a great value for
Drinks
this,
really well. Yeah.
for this high alcohol and this quality of beer. I think it's a steal. I think if you can get it in your area, or if you're really curious about trying this Imperial Pumpkin Stout, maybe you can trade for it or something.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth it. And if you know, obviously it ages well, so maybe you can pick up a couple bottles of the 12 and put one down for a year and see how it changes. But
yeah, it's the first pumpkin stout I've ever had, and it was impressive. Really,
Yep.
I enjoyed the Imperial Stouts. I enjoyed all three of them, really. All three vintages, but it was really good.
all different, all really good. Definitely check this beer out if you can. And with that being said, guys, thanks for joining us for part 3 of our Pumpkin Blowout. And we will be back with more.
A few more videos to come.
If you can believe it, we have more. All right. So yeah, guys, remember to comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think if you've had this beer before. We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we're on Facebook now. We're on Twitter. Follow us over there. It's a good way to talk to us. I mean, you can see what we're doing when we're not filming. So
Probably drinking
usually drinking.
or something like that. So, but anyways, guys.
Something related to beer, definitely.
Yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers. Again, I did it. The worst beer I pick up. Every time. Cheers.